Good afternoon, Dragons, and let me introduce you to part of the Alliance Aspire Group. My name's Natasha. I've worked for the business for 4 years across retail and I work in telesales.
My name's Hayley. I've been with EE for 8 years and currently work in the service team.
My name's Rebecca. I've been with the company for 6 years and I work in campaigns.
Hi, my name is JP. I've been with the company for 8 years now.
Hi, my name's Lee. I'm from the B2B Billing team and I've been with the company 11 years.
So thank you for your time. We've been on a great journey together over the last 7 months. And when the time came for us to pick our group project, it was clear to us all that within our day-to-day roles, we all had drive and passion to deliver an excellent and unique customer service for our customers, but sometimes processes and communications between other departments got in the way of us doing this. So the decision was easy when we came to picking our choice, which was to align customer service and retail together. Let me introduce you to Project Jigsaw. We spent time in store researching, talking to advisors and doing entrance and exit surveys with our customers. And it became apparent that the interactions weren't as streamlined as we'd like and things took a lot longer. So let me introduce you over to Hayley, who'll now talk about the ways we'd like to give time and knowledge back to our customers using the EE app.
So during our research and store visits, we thought about how retail can be more self-sufficient and about having a service desk dedicated in store and engage our agent by sales through service like a call centre has MBA. However, the risks of this is it's only one person in the store trained and what happens for holidays and sickness. And then there's the cost to the business, having a full-time service agent, potentially 2, and the cost of training over 3 brands. But also, we discourage our customers to go into retail to get their service-related queries answered in store, but not get the sales. Our retail stores are there to help with queries, but ultimately there to promote and sell EE. So after visiting the store and seeing firsthand the service-related queries customers go into store with, we wondered why customers visit our EE stores with general queries when we have this great app for customers to manage their digital lives. I wonder, is this app being used to their full potential? So the reason we chose to look at My EE is we found with our store experience and Albert 2 figures that customers are repeatedly going into store and ringing through to our service teams with the service-related queries when they can manage it themselves online, for example, payments, top-ups and general bill queries. Retail and service advisors are always referring customers to store and to call through with general queries when customers can handle themselves on My EE. So looking at Albert 2, on average we receive 400 calls into service for how can I self-serve. So that's over 1,000 customers who don't know how to self-serve, and these are the only ones we know about. We have 26 million customers, and how many of these don't know how to self-serve and know about this amazing service? Why are we not advertising on every interaction we have with our customers? So if on every sale in retail, when the customer gets the welcome pack, there's a page dedicated to My EE. At the moment there's half a page and it's not very visible. I even flick past it. This will advertise the My EE and the QR reader will take them to their own app store for them to download the app, therefore reducing service footfall and PCT into the call centre and customers will know how to manage their digital life and their account. So here's some mock-ups of some leaflets I've done. Leaflets, how I think it will look on the in a welcome pack. Also behind the screen there's a help guide that I've put together where customers can get help on how to download and what this service can do for them, and general queries like removing the content off there. Also, future focus, we can have a mock-up of a leaflet in a shop window, so when the shop's closed, customers can still download the app with the QR reader. So also thinking of how the future of MyEE works, customers go into store with faulty equipment. If there's a guided help on the MyEE app, they can run through it themselves and it can tell them about the options that are available to them when preparing a loan or insurance replacement. So by doing this, we think retail and service will have a better experience and more understanding, which helps in turn makes us number one for service, and better yet the customer can manage their digital lives.
Thank you, Hayley. So up next we have Becca, who'll take us through self-service. And this is all about how we can help customers help themselves.
So our vision is to be able to allow our customers to be able to self-serve, which means that they'll be able to have step-by-step guides, videos that they're able to access so that they can actually do it themselves. What we have done, is we have done a mock-up. Just get this one for you, so that you can have a look what it would look like on the MyEE app. Now this isn't Avactive, so I'll give that to use. If you click the tech videos, the yellow icon, what that will do is that will take you to a set of videos. So we have the likes of the set up the Wi-Fi, the email account, copying contacts from a SIM card. They're all interactive, so that means that when the customer does download the EE app, we could also have it onto the EE app. The EE TV, so obviously it is a fantastic product that we have. We could have a channel that is dedicated especially for these self-help tools, so that customers can be directed to a specific channel itself to be able to actually access these. And also it could be built into Albert too as well, which means that when they call our contact centres and say rather than having to send them into store, they would actually be able to just send them a link to their phone so that they'd be able to access this. So this would reduce AHT because then our customer service agents won't have to be spending so long trying to explain the process to them. It would just be as simple as sending the link to them. But also it would be, we could have it on our website. And also, future again is that having terminals in store so that customers, when they go into store, if they can see that the shop is busy, they can just pop in their telephone number as we would in Albert too, and be able to just search what the problem is and be able to and just do it step by step in store with their phones to allow them to do that. That would, for us, make customer service fantastic.
Okay, so next we have a piece on how we can change our retail stores to deliver this unique service to our customers. And it's rarely heard of on the high street, and it enables us to have a more efficient workforce. So up next we have JP with the retail section.
Hi, Dragons. 300 yards away from our call centre on North Tyneside is a museum dedicated to George Stephenson. George Stephenson, as you may know, is the founder of the railways and interlinked cities, and is also the founder of Great Britain, as we know it, and through the Industrial Revolution. It seems apparent to us that we have an opportunity at our feet, really, where you've got a brand new set of customers coming on in the next 6 to 18 months through the Internet of Things. We're going to see new faces and have new experiences, and it's absolutely imperative for us that EE is at the front of the digital revolution and at the forefront of what we do next. As I said before, the digital revolution itself is going to throw up its own challenges for us. The current customer experience that we have at the moment, we don't think is ready yet for those customers to come through. So on the back of Hayley's EE app and Becca's videos to support, I propose that we do in our bigger stores have a customer experience or a customer experience centre for our stores. So customers who are on lunch breaks, who won't have very time or a limited time to be able to come and see us or speak to us, have appointments. Okay. How we do those appointments is going to be through, as I say, a managed system. We have at the moment Outlook which we can use. We can use the systems that are there. That leads me nicely on to the fact that we, through research with our stores, with the managers in our stores, with the senior sales executives in our stores, the systems that they use, they say and tell us, aren't up to what they want to do. So simple transactions, such as swapping a SIM, or even changing an address, they're finding difficult and they're having to put through to our call centres at the moment. So our drive, like everybody else, is to be number one for service. But to do that, we know that we have to do other things as well. We have to reduce the propensity to call, and we have to increase the first contact resolution. So that contact resolution would be in retail and likewise in CS itself. So when these customers do arrive to us, these brand new customers, we have to make that absolutely fantastic impression. And how are we going to do that? Well, I use the loyalty model as an example for you. So a customer who has a problem, and we deal with very, very well and very efficiently, is much more likely to be loyal to us than a customer who has no experience whatsoever. So it's imperative for us to be able to do that. It's imperative for also for the guys in the retail store to have the systems, so they're not talking to the call centres and necessarily having a conversation about how to do something whilst a customer standing next to them. To that, we understand that there still will be customers who come to us. There will be still complex queries, such as billing, such as broadband-related queries, that we will not be able to deal with. Our aim is for 100% service transactions and interactions in store, but we understand that there will be certain things that we can't deal with. For that, we have a plan.
Okay, so finally we have Lee, and Lee's going to talk to us about how we can collaborate and work together to simplify our customer interactions and to get it right the first time.
As we've already heard so far today, we've learned how we can serve our customers best before they even leave the store after they've just signed a contract. We'll give them information on how to use the AA app so they can find out problems and issues themselves, or they can go onto the website and look at the how-to guides. And as JP has just said there, they can always go to the store, and if we empower our people in the store to be able to manage those customers and to be able to help them by giving them the right tools, the right systems, the right access, we'll be resolving the majority of their questions. However, we wouldn't resolve all of their questions. I'll just switch that off.
You want one?
Sorry about that. So we want to be able to take the customer experience a bit further. How do you actually help the customer more than giving them the tools to help themselves, and how to give them more better customer service than actually give them face-to-face interaction in store? Well, what we propose would be to give them direct customer service contact. So when you're in a retail store, rather than handling 150, going through the IVR, waiting in a call queue and speaking to someone, the retail stores will have a dedicated line that they can go straight through to 150 without the need of any IVR, without the need of any call queues. They just go jump straight in front of the queue, because they don't really need to sit in that queue any longer than the interactions will be taken in the store. The main queries that you get for these would be, like JP alluded to earlier on, the broadband questions and tech support level 2 questions and problems that our retail guys will not have the tools capable to resolve. And also things like disband groups, change of ownership, and queries that require proofs to be seen. Things like fraud and death certificates, well, we currently tell our customers to send them, go to the store, and they then have to send them through, or even fax them through, which not many people have faxes these days. Just doing it again, sorry. So how is this going to be much? How are we actually going to do this? Well, first thing we'll do is, like I say, the store will get a dedicated line, go straight to the front of the queue. That'll be managed by about 50% of our 150 operators at the moment. So that way, call queues are still being managed, and not everyone's just going to a retail store and now ring up 150. Customer service will take the call as normal, but they'll have their added benefit that the guy in store already knows what the issue is and can tell them clearly and concisely exactly what the problem is and what needs to be done to resolve it. And they may have also even started an hour or two session in store with them as well. So when it's CSR picks up the phone, they've already got somewhere to start a bite to carry on from. And if need be, if they need to transfer the call to another specialist team, then like I say, all the work's been already done there for them, and then transfer them to relevant areas. Benefits to this to EE, because it's absolutely free. We already have the phone lines in place, we already have the CSRs in place. Costs nothing to change an IVR around to the existing customer service base. Which will also increase FCR. Currently at the moment we are telling our customers if they've got a power problem with their phone, that they'll have to try another battery or another charger to find if it's a battery charger or phone issue. Customer goes into a retail store, they can check their install, and then if they do get ring through without the need to go back to go home to try a different piece of equipment and come back through again. Improved call handling time. Currently at the moment, call handling time, it takes a good 20-30 seconds there to actually identify who the customer is, and then another 20-30 seconds to identify what their problem is. If we're getting calls from customer services, we will know exactly what that problem is already, and can be passed on to the CSR very clearly and quickly. And this will also increase internal NPS. Currently, due to our feedback from what we've discovered when speaking to people in stores and in our contact centres, a lot of people aren't too happy when they receive calls from customers when they can't actually help them, whether that be a call that's being transferred from the wrong departments, or whether the customer set the wrong call under an IVR. If we follow this model, we will know that the calls come through are going to the right people at the right time, and then when you've seen those calls, you know you can help them. Benefits to the customer. It's going to be faster resolution. Everyone likes the questions answered yesterday and the problems resolved before they even happened. We follow this model, we'll get the resolution to the questions quickly. Which will also lead to reassurance that the products, that the query will be resolved first time. Again, a lot of our feedback that we've received centred around customers who weren't too happy to have to call back through time and time again to get one problem resolved or one question answered. We follow this model, customers will get the questions answered first time and will be quite happy. Which will ultimately lead to a better customer experience, which will help us to compete with our competitors and make us number one for service. Thank you.
So as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, by piecing the complex puzzle together, it simplifies things for our customers. And it'll edge us further towards our company objective of being number one for service. And through taking these actions, it'll help us improve NPS and improve FCR, and it'll also help us drive down PTC. And that change must start with us. Thank you.
First of all, thank you very much. I thought that was really, really good. We picked on some really interesting topics. Just give a little bit of feedback first of all, and then I'll dive into a few questions if that's okay. So I thought you really thought about the style of the presentation and the way it works. I like the sort of jigsaw motif. I thought that was clever. The way you were kind of set up to MC it, I thought was a nice. You're obviously a confident presenter, so it was very good to kind of to coordinate it in that way. The interactive demo was good. I would just say in terms of style, you probably should think that people are going to immediately play it. And I was going to be it was a bit distracting for you, I think, that was happening. No, sort of something. So, but this is very good. It's a nice sort of interactive thing that you can use in your presentation. And you know, you just thought about the music and introducing it. So I thought all that was very good. So I think you pick on some really important topics around self-serve and around the interaction between the links between retail and CS in particular, and how they can be made better. I thought there were two very good topics there, and that's what my questions are around. So the first thing is all the things about making it easier for for retail to access CS services with a customer. I understand all the reasons there. Would it not be simpler to just give as much frontline access and ability to answer those queries first time to the retail advisor? So that was my first question.
It would be, but we also already have dedicated teams for broadband and tech support level 2. When the reason they're in place for is because they're a bit more complex, they require sort of specialist knowledge to resolve those queries. So if they give them access to that phone line, they can get through those departments a lot quicker. Rather than both the 150 model, waiting in the IVR, waiting in the code queue, and then speak to someone to then be transferred.
Yeah, so you don't think we can be more ambitious and try and make all of those interactions possible in retail?
Not
That
retail, no. We believe the standard customer service operating model of 150, where it's general information, like change bill dates, change billing addresses, names, and things like that, door plans, is what's mostly needed, because that's the majority of the queries that we found.
I think we would try to get as close to 100% as we possibly could, but we looked at it and we realised that from our own experiences within CS, there's things that after my 8 years and legal 11 years, there's things that we still don't know ourselves. To expect everybody in store to know the information offhand as a customer standing in front of them would maybe be too much. Albert 2 is obviously a fantastic tool to support that, but still we have things that come up that are new. We're going into a new area, we're going into a new business really, which they'll need bringing out for us. So having a dedicated fast track line we thought was the best option on top of.
Okay, great. And on the self-serve, we obviously we learned from the group this morning. I didn't necessarily know that we have already some YouTube channel videos. Would the idea be you integrate it with that, or is this a bespoke build, or how would you see that?
Well, originally my idea was I was actually going to make the videos myself until I actually I YouTubed it, and there was actually real life branded videos that were already on there, and they were the ones that I've used for the live demo. So even if you have like a YouTube channel that you could link into as well, but just taking them specific videos and putting them so they're accessible on the EE app and then the TV as well, to have a dedicated TV channel, especially with it being ours, it would be absolutely fantastic. So yeah, to use it, utilise the ones that you've got, but then make them for all of the other aspects that you get, because there's a lot of people that you can tell them over the phone, but unless they physically say it in front of them, they're clueless to actually the step-by-step process of actually doing it.
Yeah, and there was some interesting ideas about how to promote that for as well, and the SMS after the call and things like that. It's all good. That's great. Thank you.
Could I just ask a couple of questions based on yours, Patrick? My name's Angela Howie, I'm Head of Consumer. Just around the dedicated line, I know obviously we've already got a dedicated team as Rio that support the retail shops. What impact assessment has been done to have the dedicated line? Because I'm just conscious, obviously, if we had every single retail shop ringing into, say, for example, tech level 2 or tech level 1, obviously that could impact, our other customers' calls being answered. So it'd be interesting to understand, has an impact assessment been done to look at as business actually could we support that?
I think that was going to be sort of like limited, so yes, to have that direct contact, but what we're finding, especially working on the phones, is that if, say, we speak to that customer, we then send that customer to store for whatever reason, then the store can't, so that means that customer's already been to us, now they've already been in the store, and now they're going to have to call back to it again. So in instances, and only instances like that, would it be then necessary to then have to call a dedicated line, but through to somebody, because there's a lot of times where they actually come through to the likes of us, and depending on what it is, we can't necessarily help them because we don't have that skill to be able to service that. But
I'm just thinking of the way Albert 2 is built now. In theory, that should be able to give the resolution to that question. So
I think we actually did speak with Nick Robinson with regards to this actual matter itself, and he gave us the advice that there's already 200 CSRs in Plymouth already, and he said what he would, if we went ahead with this, what we'd love to do would be utilise half of that amount. So you've still got 50% of the CSRs taking calls for 150 as normal, but the remaining 50% will be on that dedicated line, as well as taking normal CS calls.
The only other thing I'd be interested on the back of it is just from an NPS perspective, as you said, it's all about improving NPS as well for the customer. What we see at the moment is customers don't like being transferred, so normally we see from customers being transferred, we see a drop of about 20 points in NPS. So, what have you took into account to think this would actually enhance NPS?
So I got a wee bit nervous so I missed a little part of my presentation out there, which was actually something that Lee and I discussed earlier. What we said was from the point of contact there'll be total ownership, and that ownership of that resolution can only be shut down by the person who started it. So the person who started, whether it be in store or over the phone device, it can work both ways. With the person who would do the work to find out that that resolution had been gained, and only at that point will we shut down the resolution. So
in because it can claim something that's huge. My first question, have you done any research on history of stuff that we've done in the past around things that you're suggesting there?
We had signed Nick Ferrer was involved in a plan called Close the Gap, start of 2014 and through to June and July of last year. And from where we left that project, where Close the Gap was, it actually stopped at the customer service side. So we had a lot of data from the retail side, the footfalls, customer tendencies and things like that, but they stopped at the customer service side of it.
Yeah.
So we really sort of took on it so we based the fact on what was found in that project, and adapted it to CS to see what impact we could all have in our own small ways, and found out, yeah, you're quite right, it's absolutely huge what we'd undertake.
I've come on to a few more bits around that potentially we need to look at. But the one thing I did like, and one thing that needs to be again, and should be interesting most was my app. That it is massive, and it was something that was being done, but because the GTP stuff wasn't quite where it needed to be, and the app started to fall over, we stopped driving it and stopped doing stuff in retail. People say that the big page and that needs to be kickstarted again. Have you got any more information about how you do that in retail?
Well, with the leaflets, I was thinking of having the welcome pack, or even before you get the phone, it's on the box, and it can just be there visual for the customer. So what I found personally, and what I've seen when people buy phones, they do look at the first bit of information that they get. So they'll look at that, put it to one side, then look at the phone. They'll always go back to that first bit of information that they get. So and the QR readers, they actually do work. If you look on your phone, the Google one and the Apple one, you can scan them, and it just takes you straight to the page, so you don't even have to look for it.
And I think that's if you were to hone it, I would say all your money in on this, because it's not being used at all, really.
No, it's not. I mean, when I was looking at the research of it, for example, on the Google side, there's only 1 million downloads for the MyEE out of all the customers that we do have.
Yeah, and the stuff you can do in retail where we can track every sale versus again, there's loads of stuff you can do that potentially don't have time to pull out, but there's a good way to drive this. I especially like the QR code on the Play Shop door.
Yeah, that's
a really good idea. That's in my other books. You might see that in store. Obviously, it'll be my name alone. Great idea. Have you? And I like the EETV, my EE app. That was talked about in the last retail conference, and it was promised by Sylvain to be delivered as well. So that's a really good thing to come through how we line things up. Have you looked at the risk of self-service to sales?
We did look at a certain aspect of it, but maybe not too much into depth. But the customers, because we actually went into the store and we did like an entrance and exit survey with the customers that were coming in, and for the likes of people that have got contracts, there was a few customers that came in that was like just things where they didn't know how to change the time on their phone because it hadn't been done automatically. They have no intentions of buying, and although I think one of the main issues was maybe the guys in store were so run off their feet that it was just a case of, right, okay, that's it done, next customer, because there was a queue of people waiting. So I think that might be one of the sort of biggest issues. If you had the bookable appointments, then yes, to have the customers come in and give them more time because you've got an allocated slot to be able to service that customer. But yeah, I mean, there's always going to be that risk.
I think the risk is actually bigger in CS.
In customer
I
service.
don't know what department is. I think it's 23% of the sales come from transfers of people ringing in.
It's more the sales.
Yeah.
They're not ringing in.
Yeah, and that's
I'm not saying right or wrong.
No, definitely it is a massive risk, but then you've got that other percentage that will not buy them because they've got everything, and if they're serviced right when they're doing their upgrade, or they're serviced right when they're doing their sale, then they'll already know about all of these products. So therefore, technically, they should have already been sold. If they're coming through the technical, then technically we should then do a tech service rather than selling to them, because we should be doing the job right in the first place.
Absolutely. So it's just something to be watchful for.
Yeah.
We talked about tablets and ability to
self-service in store, and it's something we've tried many times, and it becomes very counterintuitive because the customer becomes more frustrated that they come into the store to speak to someone and you put them on a tablet. Have you thought about the way that sort of flows through the customer journey in the store?
I think we saw from a sales point of view really that if we were demonstrating our own products whilst we were doing this, we'd actually use that as an experience. It was really a good experience.
Yeah.
We never really took on board that the products themselves might not work so well, but we did it from a more utopia point of view, where it's an ideal opportunity to promote the products as we let people fix their problems and help themselves.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that I didn't go into with the terminals that we had discussed was that with this specific terminal, it wouldn't just be for necessarily the videos. If a customer was to come into the store, which again we've seen a lot of, to top up, and these customers, if they're just say putting a £5 on or £10 and it's lasting them for like 6 months, then it would just allow them to do that top up, which would then save the time of the agents to be able to service the customers that are wanting to buy things. However, if a customer was to come in the store and it was to say top up, and it would recognise how much this customer was topping up and stop them from being able to do that top up until they spoke to somebody, because then it would warrant them to be sold to. So it would have that kind of, like, it would be an intelligent service, and be able to have your advertisement, so it would show you what best deals were on your tablets and what deals were on your dongles, and it would create that picture for the customer to maybe go over and go, oh, excuse me, I really like the look of that. So yeah.
Okay. It's got loads of stuff in there again then.
I know. It just gets bigger and bigger.
Yeah, okay. I had over all these other questions. I was honing it down to one thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, thank you. I really liked your presentation. I thought you really picked on some pain points that are between CS and our stores. I suppose, like Lee, I really like the QR reader in the store window. I think that's just again a bit of a no-brainer, especially if stores shut or whatever, because someone's passing it, and if they're in the high street, they're really not in a position where they'll want to call. So being able to use that just seems great to me. And I really like the videos, and I'm thinking about how we would link it into our TV channel. I'm probably just quite interested from a contact centre point of view about this 50% of the sort of 150. So there's something about triage or help desk teams that I think sometimes we do always come back to and have a look at and say, would it be worth investing in? I suppose my first question is, did you look at any other organisations that maybe have a triage type team in place, and was it successful?
We didn't initially. I mean, the initial vision was actually to have customer service help desk installed, and after a bit of research, we thought that was pretty much a no-go. Mainly due to store size, management by store managers. We do know that does happen on the continents, it's like Holland, Spain, for example. We didn't actually look at any of our customers or any of our businesses. However, you look at your places like Tesco, you don't see people arguing at the till, you see them on the customer service desk. So it does work in other places.
Okay.
So the next best step is, rather than having it in store, is empowering the guys in store to do the work, and then if not, because they've already had that interaction, if a customer spent 5 minutes interacting with a guy in store, he doesn't want to ring up on 3-minute IVR, and then 4-minute call queue. He should really go jump ahead of everybody else, because he's already done that 5-minute conversation, and then go to the front of the queue for everyone else. We looked at Rio, the guys at Rio, but what we found is Rio only handles certain types of groups from certain places. It's not brilliant to the point of it's a one-stop shop. So I deal with, I think there's 6 different types of queries they actually deal with, and all from certain places as well, so not all retail calling to them. And the feedback from that was, it's good for the ones that's probably using it, but not so great for our customer service now. So if we open that up on a larger scale, it'll be better for everyone.
Okay, so you talked about doing almost this 50% of our Rio team. So, and you talked about doing it at no extra cost. So talk to me about how that would work at no extra cost. How would you?
Well, the customers are going for anything. That's the major cost part of it. Is that if you've got 100 customers that are going to the store and they're ringing up to the store saying you need to ring up 150, what using the store phone or the lawn phone, they're going to be in the call queue regardless. So it's easier managed if they've already had that interaction. Why should they have to wait as long as everybody else when they've already had an interaction? if I wrote 150 with a certain issue, I could spend 5 minutes in a call queue, an IVR, and then get the question answered. Whereas if I'm in store, or being advised previously go to the store, look, the store have 5 minutes interaction, and I'll have 1 5 minutes, that's 10 minutes interaction for one simple query. Really difficult, really difficult in front of the queue at save that time.
Yeah.
But you can't do that for everyone, otherwise people who run 150 will never get through it, we're not going to that.
Yeah.
The 50-50, so 100 people take calls, 100 people take 150, was an idea that Nick Robinson threw at us.
I think that was linked in with what I was saying. It's just being aware of your, doing your impact assessments prior to the, to the relevant stakeholders to understand what that cost is. Because I know you mentioned Plymouth, but what you won't realise is Plymouth also take a number of different calls, like repeats, complaints, etc., escalation lines. So they take a whole host of different calls already. So to add another number of calls with the different HT, etc., would have a cost because it's taken them away from doing something else as well. So
but I think what I do agree with in what you're saying is we do manage our customers in buckets. We've got AHT, FCR over here, we've got, do you know what I mean? We don't think that actually our customers might have tried to solve it on the web, then they've gone into store and then they're referred to CS, so it is a journey and we sometimes let our own operational buckets get in the way of how customers actually interact with us. So I think you hit on something important. I think my thing would be let's just try and resolve the first point of contact all the time wherever we can. But I accept what you say. Not always going to be possible.
I think at the heart of Lee's presentation was the relationship. So where stores, even regionally, would have a relationship, they'd know who they were speaking to. If it was 100 people, if it was 50 people, we don't know the numbers exactly, but they would know who they were speaking to, they would generate a relationship. We found out on a project just in the last 9 months that by learning and interlinking with different departments, different people, we've got a brand new set of stakeholders to help us in our daily jobs. It'll be exactly the same for these guys in retail who have this problem, and it happens to them quite often.
So I guess my final question is just, if you're looking at FCR and MPS and wanting to see an improvement, what would you expect to see post-delivery? Your ideas, what target would you be giving yourself?
I think as close as possible to 100% interaction in store would absolutely sort out our PTC, so the propensity to call the call centre would be minimalised, and again we'll be guessing at the fractions of what that would be depending on how well we roll out the project itself. The first call resolution side of it would be exactly that, so by building the relationship, having people who have got, there's not 1,000,001 different things that are brought up, but there's maybe 101 different departments that could do it. Having that relationship where people can streamline their questions, be answered quickly and efficiently, would increase the first call resolution.
Okay. Not a lot more to add in terms of what it's always positive. It's all been said. I think all of us well done, Tash. Great coordination.
Thank you.
And apologies, Becca. Don't have anything to play with. So I do want to see the videos now. I'll be itching to see them. I think, for me, I think there's a number of components. Well, if I looked at it, I split the whole thing into 2 parts. There's the piece that I think you chose at the end spoke about most, that's been touched on, all the EEAP, the principles around QR codes, and all the stuff around how we start to interface a little more interactively. I think there's some great merits and opportunities there that you should explore. And don't let those bits kind of be shadowed by some of the other complexities that I think Lee's alluded to, which is this is a huge, huge subject. So pick off those things that actually have got some merit and you can grow some legs with. I'm going to focus a bit more on these guys here in terms of the service in store versus 150 direct equivalents. I'll be really honest with you, some of those suggestions slightly worry me, but I'm also a little bit confused by some of them too, so I'm just going to give you my views and opinions. What I do like, and it came over from a conversation about the sort of principles of dropping into store and doing your own bit of changing your address type stuff. I've always loved the concept, and I don't know how you make it a reality, of an ATM equivalent in a retail store. You can go in, it's one of those that doesn't allow you to take cash out, but you can just go in and you can do some really basic things on your account. And then you walk away. And if you want anything more, you have to go and queue for a teller. Okay? There's something like that missing in our stores that we need to be able to do, because people do like the concept. I'm walking the high street, I can change my address, or I haven't done such and such with my top, I just want to nip in and do it. I don't want to talk to anybody. And I know that defeats some of the objects around sales opportunities, but it's really simple basic things. So I think there's an opportunity there to explore, but I don't know quite how, and it's actually a challenge. With the bit that I worry about, so we've got, with best intent, Rio was set up with a thing in mind. It might not be doing all those things today, but it was primarily set up to be able to do a lot of the fast tracking for somebody in store to be able to get to a human being that could have a conversation with them about the customer in front of them, or if needs be, speak directly to the customer. And I do wonder whether trying to fix that problem by putting in a different group of people doing a similar intended thing, or do you take what you've got today and actually make it work? Because there's part, it feels like we've got half and half already there today, and we should think about it. And there's an awful lot of momentum right now about 100% service in store. And we need to be clear about if that's going to happen. We're talking about things like, you know, reducing the need for Rio and the complexities that have it today, because more and more can be done in the shop. And I think you raised some challenges around how those things happen. But for me, you know, the biggest challenge that we have in the front line is we send our customers backwards and forwards between 150 and stores, regardless of where they've gone when they got to 150. Different customer advisors tell the opposite to the customer, and the customer just goes backwards and forwards. And at the end, by the time we go to the store again, they're ready to punch somebody. Quite understandably sometimes. And I think that for me is how do we eradicate that need for anybody to ever have to be moved, particularly for a level 1 interface. Yes, okay, if it's a billing escalation or it's tech level 2, absolutely. But nobody at a level 1 should ever be tending somebody into store when they've run the centre, or from the store being told to ring 150 for a level 1 inquiry, whatever that might be. And I think that for me, I'm not sure that I understand quite how that's resolved in the proposals that you talked about there. It might be just that I've missed something, but there's some more work to do. And therefore I think the front end piece, there's some real legs there, and there's some great pieces there that I would consider investing in. The back end piece, I think we've got some more work to do to understand that a bit better.
Okay. It was the introduction of Think Line in the store that's going to, because we have a great